Hearing the maid's words, everyone in the private room had a gloating smile in their eyes, and everyone's eyes all looked towards the yellow smoke. Huang Yanshan's face was as cold as frost, and he said, "Say it again, who is competing with Examen Guanren for tonight's head girl?" The maid was even more timid, and said cautiously, "It's the first day of the West Courtyard of the Wuxi Academy, Zhang Ruokan." Xuan Guihai's heart was overjoyed, and he smiled. Now everyone should believe my words. Zhang Ruokan's courage is too great, he is already engaged to the Lord of Yanshan, and he dares to do anything outside. Lord Smoke and Dust, I am willing to take action and help you teach that wave a lesson. Dumplings. A man wearing a purple and gold crown stood up, pinched a folding fan in his hand, and said indignantly. This person's name is Zuo Lingxuan, he is 28 years old this year, he is ranked 34th in the inner palace of the Wuxi School Palace, and he has cultivated to reach the great pole position of the Earth Extreme Realm, and he is a genius who hopes to break through to the great perfection of the Earth Extreme Realm before the age of 30. In Heavenly Demon Martial City, only those who can break through to the great perfection of the Earth Extreme Realm before the age of 30 can be regarded as gifted. If you can't reach the great perfection of the Earth Extreme Realm at the age of 30, then you can no longer be called a genius, and you can only be regarded as one of the ordinary martial artists. Another martial artist whose talent was not under Zuo Lingxuan also stood up and said, "As long as the Lord of Smoke and Dust says a word, I will go down and destroy that kid's hands and feet now." Huang Yanshan's heart was naturally very angry, clutching his hands tightly, and he wanted to go down and break Zhang Ruokan's legs in person. That guy is so hateful, and it's really an out-and-out kinky thief. However, Huang Yanshan still held back, he didn't want to be seen as a joke by Chen Zier, and tried to stay calm. "Don't worry. I want to see how high he can raise the price." Tonight, the head girl of the Heavenly Pavilion is a 17-year-old beautiful woman, wearing a red ice silk robe, with a slender figure, pink face, peach cheeks, and crystal red lips. She is definitely a beauty that is one in a million. She is also a half-human, from the peacock half-human race, so she has a pair of colorful wings on her back. It is said that she is also a martial artist with no low talent, and her cultivation has reached the small pole of the yellow pole realm. Although her martial arts cultivation is not high, she is better than her beautiful face, beautiful dancing, and extremely feminine, and many men want to take him for themselves. There were quite a lot of people who shouted at the beginning, but after the price exceeded 1 million silver coins, the only people who shouted were Zhang Ruokan and Examen Guanren of the Yuntai sect. 1 million silver coins, even for a Earth Extreme Realm martial artist, is a huge fortune that can buy a lot of cultivation resources. No one wants to spend so much silver for a woman. The reason why Zhang Ruokan shouted the price was because he wanted to help Zhang Xiaochu buy a prince concubine. The reason why the price will continue to shout after the price exceeds 1 million silver coins is because for Zhang Ruokan, there is no difference between 1 million silver coins and 2 million silver coins. You only need to sell a space bracelet, and you can naturally sell a large number of silver coins. He doesn't lack this money. 1 million silver coins. Zhang Ruokan shouted out the next price. Examen Guanren was cold, continued to shout, and said, 2 million silver coins. Examen Guanren is the number 1 master of the Yuntai sect's outer mansion, ranking 13th on the Zan Bang. Moreover, he is also the grandson of a deputy lord of the Yuntai sect, so he is also not short of money. Examen Guanren sat at the same table with Lin Chenu and Lin Qishan, and was also one of the guests invited by Hua Juhan. Ninth brother, why don't you forget it? It's not worth spending 2 million silver coins for a woman. Zhang Xiaochu said in a low voice. Lu Chengfeng, who was sitting on the side, shook his head and said, Your Royal Highness the 4th Prince, it's too late to give up now. Now it's not as simple as competing for a head-eating girl, but a game between the senior brother of the West Courtyard of the Wuxi Academy and the senior brother of the Yuntai sect. If senior brother gives up now, it will be tantamount to telling others that our Wuxi School Palace is not as good as the Yuntai sect in the future. The students of our Western Academy will not be able to raise their heads when they see the disciples of the Yuntai sect. Zhang Ruokan smiled faintly and said, 4th brother, don't worry, it's just some silver coins, it's not a big deal. Zhang Ruokan didn't want to bargain with Examen Guanren anymore, so he decided to buy the head food auction as soon as possible, so he shouted a sky-high price and said, 4 million silver coins. Boom! The entire heavenly pavilion exploded, and everyone was shocked. Zhang Ruokan directly doubled the price, such a high price, let alone buying a woman, even if it is enough to buy 1,000 women. Examen Guanren was silent for a long time, and finally did not continue to increase the price. After all, he did not have much money, only more than 1 million silver coins. If he had to spend 2 million silver coins to buy the head girl, he would have to borrow some of the money. Borrowing hundreds of thousands of silver coins is not difficult for him. but if he were to borrow a few million silver coins, it would not be a small amount. Examen Guan Ren glanced at Lin Chanu, shook his head gently, and said apologetically, I can't increase the price anymore. Lin Chanu nodded lightly, indicating understanding. Then, Lin Chanu stood up, looked at Zhang Ruokan, and said with a smile, I haven't seen you for a year, I didn't expect my cousin to become a romantic person, and he can spend 4 million silver coins for a woman to accompany him, which really makes my cousin admire. I just don't know, if the Lord of Smoke and Dust knew about this, how would he feel? Others thought that Zhang Ruokan and Huang Yanchen were engaged and must be close. However, only Zhang Ruokan himself knows that he and Huang Yanchen are only temporarily engaged to solve their respective troubles, and it is impossible for them to really be together in the future. Therefore, Zhang Ruokan looked quite relaxed, and smiled confidently, Cousin, don't worry, even if the Lord of Yanchen knows about this, she will definitely not have any opinions. Thanks for